Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Influencers Project. I'm your host, Craig Reynolds, and with me today is one of the most successful BMX riders there's ever been, Mr. TJ Lavin. TJ, how's it going today, buddy?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I can't complain. You know, we've got some time on our hands. I figured this fun little project was based off of a photo project I wanted to do, and then it morphed into me looking into other people's influences and what caused them to be who they are today. And you've got a fascinating story. I mean, you've won on every level, X Games, dirt comps, like everything you've ever touched, you've won. How did it, first of all, let's back up. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And I had many different influences and many different people coming from all angles. And I just tried to soak in as much good as I could and as much positivity. And when I saw somebody do something that was positive, and then the reaction of other people around them to that person doing something positive, I was like, all right, put that in my mental Rolodex, and just kept on putting all these pieces into the mental Rolodex till I became as good of a person as I possibly could be. That's kind of what it all worked out to. So it was like, okay, Richard Lassiter was my business mentor, and he's like the guy that owned the business of one of my first jobs, and it was a nuts and bolts factory back in the day. And he was such a sweetheart, and he always used to tell me, like, TJ, I'm really rich, don't worry about it. Like when we were going to eat or something, I would always do the reach, always. And he was like, TJ, come on, man, I'm really rich, dude, I got this. And like that stuck with me since I was 14 years old. I was 14 years old thinking about that, and I was like, man, one day I'm going to tell somebody I'm really rich and pay for dinner. You know what I mean? And now I do that same thing all the time. Like I make it a joke, of course, but it's because I'm not really rich, but it's funny. But it's just like, like it's something I'm like, because I always get lunch with all my buddies and stuff, and then when it's all of us, I'm like, don't worry about it, boy, I'm loaded, or what, it's hilarious. So I use that, and it's just something that always catches a laugh, and it's always awesome. And then I think like my sense of humor I got from my dad. My dad is like a really funny guy. And so I got the sense of humor from him, and I would see other people laugh at him, and I'd be like, man, I really want to make people laugh like that. So, it's kind of like that. And then sense of humor also came from Nick Herda, who's a mutual friend of ours. And Nick Herda, like, he was such a big influence in my life, like tipping people, treating people all the same, no matter who they are, from the biggest of the wigs to the whatever. And it's like, he treats everyone like they're gold and like they matter. And I got that from him. And I also got that from Pharrell Williams, to be honest. Like,
okay.
I watched him, and he was the biggest of the big. And when I hung out with him at Gravity Games that year in 2001 or 2 or whatever, or 2000 maybe, I remember him treating the door guy like he was the president. And I was like, yes, that's how it's supposed to be. So it was cool, man. So I took all of those pieces and morphed them into one thing,
I told my wife this today, that TJ is one of the nicest, most stand-up people that I've ever met in my entire cycling career. And it's consistent. Like, I've never seen you waver from that. It's always been the same genuine person. And what I'm hearing you say right now is treat people right. And it's not that hard to do, right?
No, everybody though, like not just
absolutely.
I treat a homeless guy like I
yes.
treat a cop, like I treat a barista, like I treat everybody is important.
Yep.
And if you treat them like that, the reciprocal is boom. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's so nice.
I completely agree. And not only is it nice for them, but it's nice for the person that's delivering that as well.
That's what I'm saying. It's great, man.
Mm-hmm. So
it's all for you. It really is all for you. Like, if you're having a shit day, go and do something nice for somebody that can't pay it back.
Right.
And it will give you the best feeling you've ever had in your life. I promise.
I completely agree with you. Absolutely. Now, let's get on to your BMX career, because like I said, you've won on every level. What was the drive, or what was the influence that propelled you to that level, to that height?
Man, like it was crazy because it was basically just showing off. I'm serious. Like it basically was just showing off. Like, look how good I am. Like you're showing off, which is completely out of my character. Like I don't want to be like that's who I am, but kind of, dude. It really was because I was a little dude in high school, like very little. Graduated 5'3", 100 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, I was little. I wrestled
Wow.
103s and never had to make weight. It was crazy, like crazy. I was walking around 95 pounds and 100 pounds maybe when I got my license and everything. I got pulled over 3 or 4 times because they thought I was a kid, like real kid. Like I was a kid. I was 16, but they thought I was like 14 or 13. Like I was tiny. So when I got to be a little bit bigger, I was already good on a bike because I took all the slams and stuff when I was small. So it was
Right.
cool, man.
Right.
The development and the tricks got big because now I'm 6 feet tall and like I'm doing Superman seat grabs, and they look
Dude.
like I learned them when I was 5'3", 4 or 5, and it was easy to get back on the bike. But now I'm doing them and it's like, wow, you know what I mean? It's big and it's like,
Right.
wow, that is awesome. But if you were 6 foot tall, you couldn't learn it like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it
Yes.
was crazy because it all kind of just happened together, and everything happened and that was supposed to at the time that it was supposed to happen. And that was kind of that's when I learned what lucky was,
Mhm.
is like when opportunity meets preparation. And so I was prepared for the right moments at the right times. And so when Chris Moeller and um, Brad McDonald came to Nick Herda's house, I was prepared to dominate that backyard, and do the
Right.
transfers and the berm transfers and impress them. And I did. And so they were like, this is the kid to watch. And then all of a sudden, like a little buzz, and then all of a sudden Nick Herda, I was like, yo, can you get me in the King of Dirt? I want to compete in the King of Dirt.
Right.
And he was like, okay. And that was in 1995. The X Games came out that summer. We all watched it. And while we were sitting there watching it at my friend's house, I'll never forget it, I was thinking to myself, I could beat those dudes. And I was thinking that while I'm watching that. And I'm like, dude, I would, yeah, right, dude, there's no way. But I really think I could. You know what I mean? In my mind. And then all of a
Yep.
sudden, out of the woodwork, one of my buddies goes, well, why don't you compete in this, dude? You could beat those dudes.
Yeah.
And I was
Nice.
like, okay. So then I called Nick Hurd. I was like, yo, put me in the King of Dirt, please. So he called Gork. Gork said, yes. Anything for you, Nick? And then it was history.
That
There's
is
20 top
awesome.
guys. Fuzzy, Todd Lyons, Jay Miron, Joey Garcia, all the top guys, 20 guys that were just on my wall. You know what I'm saying? Like just
Yep.
posters on my wall, and
Hmm.
me. And then I ended up winning.
You won your first contest.
Yeah, first contest, 95.
Unreal. How
King
did
of
you
Dirt.
keep the mental strength for that? It was your first one. Like, how did you know? Like, how did you stay composed enough to win?
I just knew that I was supposed to win. Like I knew
Cool.
it. Like
Hmm.
when you go into something knowing that you're supposed to win, it's a whole different mindset. So like I was supposed to win. That's why when I got beat in 90, I went undefeated that whole entire year, like from
Oh.
Daredevils of Dirt to some contest in Lake Havasu. Like all these pro contests, I'm just knocking them out. And then I got invited to the X Games, of course, because I'm winning everything. I
Right.
won Cactus Cup. I won all this stuff, like these crazy contests, one-offs, and I won them all. And then 96 X Games was in Providence, Rhode Island. And
Hmm.
I met Colin Winkleman that year, and we were roommates at the X Games. And
Wow.
then I remember like, all right, so then we go there and I watch Matt Hoffman break his collarbone. No,
Oh,
Robbie Morales break his collarbone on the jump.
right.
I saw Matt Hoffman go over the bars real hard. And I was like, oh man, I was scared to hit the jump. I was like, dang, dude, these dudes are slamming. I'm gonna be in trouble. So I hit it and made it, and everything's fine. And I got second. And that was the first time I tasted defeat. And I was like, huh, I can be beat. You know what I mean? Because I was like, dude, I'm going to run this game for 10, 20 years. And then
undefeated for 10 years would be pretty incredible.
And then I made $2,200 for getting second place. And I was like, I'm retired. That's it. I'm done. I made it. that was a wrap.
That's it. Shut it down.
That's it.
And you parlayed that into a nice, healthy, long career, rode for one of the most iconic brands in Specialized, which anytime I think of you riding, I think of you on Specialized, that Specialized Mountain Dew team, which was gnarly across the board from the BMX side all the way to the mountain bike side, just heavy hitters galore. And then you retired and go ahead.
Yeah, that's my biggest regret is ever leaving them.
Really?
Yep. 100%. Like,
wow.
I wish I would still be on Specialized today because I really love that company and I love Mike Sinyard and I love everything about all those people. The only thing was Travis Chiprez found me. So my loyalty lied with Travis.
Right.
And so Travis went to Schwinn, who was Darrell, who owned GT Schwinn and Mongoose. Yep. And I was like, I don't love that. But I love Travis. So I have to go. So I went, and that was it. And my loyalty still lies with Travis. So wherever Travis goes, I go, and that's why I rode giant bikes for the last however long. And if he leaves there, I'm gone. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's my guy.
A testament to who you are and your character as well, to stick with the person that, that found you, that's huge.
Yeah. Well, we're family. So.
Right. Well, then you're stuck together regardless.
You don't have a choice. Yeah.
That's right. So after your career in bikes, you transitioned that into TV as well. And you've been with MTV for, I don't know how many years you've been doing
15.
the challenge, but it's been a long 15 years. Incredible.
15 years, dude.
Dude,
15.
most shows don't last that long, period. That's awesome.
It's weird, man. It's really crazy. I honestly can't believe it. I sit here and I'm like, dude, I've been working for MTV for 15 years. Amazing. And like Peter Murray, who's the company that makes the challenge and sells it to MTV. So it's just crazy to me, man. I can't believe it, man. It's been a very successful ride. It's been awesome. And
a very charmed life, because I know there's a lot of people that would love to be hosting something like that. How was that transition from bikes, and what did you bring from that life into your TV world that you can apply, or that you apply to it still?
Well, it was pressure, right? So when you have to deal with pressure, like how you deal with pressure is how you're going to perform in the situation, right? So for the TV gig, I went, the first time I ever went there, it was called Trinidad and Tobago. It was Gauntlet 2. And it was this dude, Justin Booth, who's my executive producer. He is my guy. Like, we're family now. Like, I love the dude. He loves me, and we're just tight. But then I just met him. And to be honest, when we had tryouts, it was 3 of us in line. It was me, a snowboarder, and Nasty were the 3 people that were in line for this. And what happened is Vinnie Potistivo came to my house and was sweeping the back porch, and he was like in 1999, and they had this big party in my backyard called the Backyard Barbecue, and I invited him in for some lunch or something or breakfast, and he's like, "No, dude, I'm cool." I go, "No, man, come on in. I'll help you sweep the back porch after." He's like, "All right." So he did. And I did, and we did, and we finished everything. Everything's cool, everything's great, and we became friends. So then he became some real important guy at MTV, the talent development guy. Yeah, from PA to talent development, big time. And he was like the right-hand man for Jackie French, who was the big wig, like the biggest of the big. She's an amazing lady. And so he like called me one day out of the blue. He would call me all the time on my birthday and everything. And I was like, what the heck? So like, this guy's so cool, man. He always calls me, sees how I'm doing and stuff. Like, it's weird, but I love it. You know, it's cool. But all of a sudden it's 2004 and he's calling me like this. And I'm like, what up, Vinnie? And I happened to be in New York City for music. I was doing some music stuff.
Got it. Yes.
So I was in New York City and I was like, man, I'm in New York right now. I'm actually right up the street at WME. And he was like, well, we'll come over to my office. I go, you have an office? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right. So I go to his office in MTV and there's rainbows everywhere. And I'm like, Vinnie, are you gay? He goes, yeah. And I go, thank God. Oh, man, thank God. He's like, why? I go, look how good looking you are. Like, he's the best looking dude in the world. And I'm like, dude, there'd be no ladies left for any of us, bro. You're the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my life.
That is awesome.
He was laughing and he's like, dude, do you want a show? And I was like, yeah, man, well, let's do it. I'll try it, whatever. He goes, all right, it's called The Challenge. And I go, no, that's Dave Mira's show. And he goes, no. He's done with it. I think he's done. I go, you know what? Let me call him. So I called him right there on the spot. And I was like, Dave, TJ. He's like, hey, what up, man? I go, hey, they want to give me the challenge, but I'm not taking it if it's still yours. If you're still doing it, I'm not doing it. He goes, no, bro. Do it for sure, man. You're going to love it.
Wow.
He goes, you'll do it for like 1 or 2 seasons and you'll be done. And I was like, all right, cool.
15 years later.
So then I got off the phone and I go, all right, Vinny, I'll take it. And he's like, all right, it's yours. And I was like, all right, cool. So then I went home and then Buna Murray called and they were like, hey, we hear you want to do the challenge. We want to try you out. And I was like, oh, okay. It's that kind of party. All right.
Right.
So like, I'm going to get a tryout. And I was like, all right, I'll do that. So then I go to Hollywood and I go into this meeting and there's this round table of dudes and they were like, all right, TJ, so this all boils down to this. Who would you pick? Would you pick yourself, Nasty, or I can't remember the snowboarder's name. He was really, really good looking, badass dude though. And I go, Nasty for sure. And then they were like, what? I was like, no, dude, for sure, Nasty. Like, I was still winning at the time, right? So
yeah.
I was like, and Nasty wasn't winning at that time. Nasty was having a hard time. And I was like, dude, he's my boy. He needs it for a couple of laps, you know? He'll do that, and I'll just do this, and then we'll just be, and we'll still be boys, and yada. And then I go, he has more charisma in his pinky than any 10 people I know. Like, he's the dude.
No question.
And then, yeah, he's the baddest dude I know. Still today, I love him. So,
yep.
So they were like, okay, cool. So then Nasty was who Justin Booth, my friend, my brother, that's who he wanted Nasty because I said that. He was
right.
Like, dude, that's the guy. And then Nasty went in and sold himself, of course. He kills it. So, So then they said, we're taking Nasty. And MTV said, no, you're not. You're taking TJ. And then they go, no, we're taking Nasty. And they go, nope, we're taking TJ.
Wow.
And then finally they were like, all right, fine, we'll take TJ. So I was the second choice. Nasty was the first choice for Buna Murray. And then I went there and I was like, all right, I'm gonna really do a good job. So when they handed me the script, it was raining and they said, learn this. And it was 2 pages of gnarly script. And I was like, dude. And he goes, you got 30 minutes. And I was like, oh shit. Like, this is it. Like, oh man, like, this is really hard. Dave Mira couldn't learn this. That's what I'm thinking, you know, like, how the hell did we do this? So, and I'm like, well, thank God I got this. Nasty ain't learned this. So I learned just the bullet points. Basically, I said, you know what? I'm just going to go out there and just wing it. So I just said, let me just understand this game, how to do it, what to do, how to play, what to woo. I did that, and then I went out there, and I was like, all right, guys, I really don't know anything, but here it is. And there was 35 or 36 people at the time out there.
Wow.
Massive amount of people that I've seen on TV and all this stuff, and it's raining. And I go, it's raining right now, but we're just going to roll with it. And I just kept going. And then they couldn't believe that I did that. and like,
Right.
so they stopped after it was all said and done, and then Justin was like, all right, so Schmidt, what do you think? And Schmidt was there, this dude, another one of the producers, and he goes, I think that he's got the job. And then the other guy goes, I know he has the job. Like all this stuff, and then the whole cast was super supportive and real cool, and they were like, dude, you were amazing. And I was like, I just was like trying to wing it because I don't know how to learn this pages of stuff in 30 minutes with the rain.
So, yeah, it's a lot, period.
Yeah, dude.
Even without the rain, man, that's a lot.
And the pressure on, you know what I mean? Pressure on, cameras going, like first time ever. And so I won the contest, dude. Like I won the contest. And I was like, dude, winning.
It's a great analogy. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I just turned it into a contest, won, and then I went to lunch that day with Justin, and he was like, listen, man, you're my host for as long as I am the producer of this show. And I go, all right, well, you're the producer as long as I'm the host of this show. How's that? He goes, well, I don't know. I'm not going to hold you to that, but yeah, you're the guy. And I was like, all right, bro. Well, I'm not going to hold you either, but thanks. So then he did. He was the host. I was the host every season he ever produced.
Awesome.
Ever. So
that's fantastic.
I really love Justin. Like,
I think that's also a testament to who you are as well, for someone that's going to commit to you like that. You know, your personality, your work ethic, your desire to succeed. That's tremendous for someone to go, you're my guy, plain and simple, because that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
What I think is also fascinating is how you taught yourself how to play piano.
Yeah. What? Yeah, I did. And guitar. I really? Just took up guitar this year. Yeah. Or no, I mean last year. So I've been playing guitar for 2 years now. But yeah, I play piano. Like I played piano since I was a kid. I just heard the song Silent Night.
Okay.
And when I heard it, I started playing it on a keyboard. And my mom was like, "What?" And I go, "Yeah, that's how it goes, right?" I replayed it on a keyboard. On a little mini keyboard, I could play that like da na 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 na, and that made sense to me. I could hear it. I was like, that makes perfect sense to me. And then I learned the bass notes to it too, and I was like, man, that makes real sense. So then I just started playing, and then I would play like anything that I heard on the radio, you know, from Boy George to George Michael to whoever, whatever,
Amazing.
Whenever. Yeah.
So can you read music as well, or are you just playing off of the sound?
Well, now I play off the sound only.
Yeah.
But I went to college to read music because when I had to go there, I had to go to college for health insurance, right? So to stay on your parents' health insurance, you got to be in college. Well,
you got to keep going, yeah.
I'm going to go to college. So I went there for commercial design and music. That's it. I didn't even care about nothing else. I just went there just to learn how to read piano and to learn Adobe Illustrator and all that stuff too. Just artsy dude. So just do that stuff. And then I did. And I pretty much cheated all the way through piano because I knew it by ear. So I would play the music. I would just play it like Fur Elise. I could play Fur Elise by ear. There was a couple of notes that were a little bit different. Like I would hit one sharp or whatever, and she would be like, "You're cheating, aren't you?" And I'd be like, "Yeah."
No way.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Well, TJ, I appreciate you more than you possibly know. You've always been such a stand-up guy to me for as long as we've been friends. I appreciate you taking the time today to sit and chat with me. And I continue to look forward to your success as long as you're on MTV or as long as I've got you on Zoom.
Oh, dude, we're boys, bro. Anytime,
Absolutely.
Anything, anywhere, you know that.
Excellent. Well, next time I'm in Vegas, the coffee is definitely on me.
Hey, let's do it, brother. Much love.
You got it, man. I appreciate you more than you know. So if you guys like what you're seeing, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll let you know when new stuff gets posted. TJ, take care, and I'll talk with you soon.
Much love, Craig.